Welcome to Kanerika's podcast, The Digital Shift, a deep dive into the forces reshaping modern business. Okay, let's unpack this shift toward intelligence. Every business leader, from the CFO to the VP of supply chain, they all need knowledge fast. They're looking for that real-time clarity to make smart decisions, but the reality for so many is, well, they're still dragging the anchor of legacy reporting systems. I'm talking specifically about tools like SQL Server Reporting Services, or SSRS.
And that's really the crux of the problem, isn't it? We're watching this fundamental disconnect. The market demands speed, agility.
Constant change.
Right. And yet companies are relying on systems that create these massive operational bottlenecks. You need interactive, real-time insights, but you're working with reports designed for a totally different era.
So like a paper map in a GPS world.
Exactly. Our mission today is to understand why these static reports function like that cumbersome, outdated paper map when the business landscape today demands GPS. Something dynamic, personalized, and constantly updating.
So the big question we're asking is, what are the specific challenges, technically and logistically, that are slowing down decision makers right now? We need proactive intelligence, not just historical documents.
Precisely. The goal is foresight, not just a rearview mirror. And, if you're wondering why we're focusing so much on this shift, it's worth noting the industry validation here. Microsoft was just ranked the #1 leader in Gartner's 2024 Analytics and Business Intelligence report.
Which really confirms the Power BI is the tool leading the charge in overcoming these hurdles.
It absolutely is.
Okay, so let's dig into those hurdles. Because if you're a business user stuck on one of these older systems, the pain is, well, it's a daily thing.
Yeah.
What does that frustration actually look like?
The first, and I think the most debilitating pain point, is the lack of interactivity. SSRS reports are static. Think of them as a PDF.
Right. It tells you one story and that's it.
Exactly. So let's say you're looking at sales figures for the Northeast, and suddenly you have a question about, say, the top 5 accounts in that region. What do?
You can't just click on the chart. That simple action, that basic drill down, suddenly becomes this multi-day saga.
A saga is the perfect word for it. You have to submit a request to IT, basically asking them to write and run a whole new report. You wait 2, maybe 3 days.
And your agility is just gone.
It's killed. By the time you get the answer, the market has moved, the meeting is over. A simple question turns into an expensive development project. That's a massive time bottleneck.
And that bottleneck must be compounded by what sounds like incredibly complex development and high maintenance. So if I'm a non-technical leader and I just want a tiny adjustment, am I just locked out?
You are absolutely locked out. Modifying an SSRS report, it requires advanced SQL knowledge, a deep familiarity with report definition language, or RDL.
So it's a specialist job.
It is. Think of RDL as a really specific, complex language for a print layout. If you need a small change, even just updating the logo on the report, you need a developer. IT becomes this involuntary gatekeeper for every 5-minute fix.
I can just imagine the maintenance backlog for the tech team. You have hundreds, maybe thousands of these custom reports out there.
It is a version control disaster. When a core business rule changes, say your definition of a new customer, someone has to manually track down and update every single affected report individually.
Oh, wow.
There's no central way to update logic. And this, of course, leads to inconsistencies where 2 departments are looking at reports with slightly different definitions, which just erodes all trust in the data.
Okay, moving on to accessibility. I remember trying to view these sprawling reports on a phone. The mobile experience has to be a huge blocker for adoption, right? Especially for executives.
It's a critical drag on adoption. SSRS was built for a desktop screen. Trying to view it on a phone means constant horizontal scrolling, zooming, pinching. The data is practically unusable.
So if your leadership team is traveling, meeting clients.
Your BI strategy is failing the second they leave their desk. If they can't check their KPIs easily, it's a failure.
And the final piece of the puzzle, data sources. Modern business pulls data from everywhere, cloud, legacy systems, Salesforce, you name it. How does SSRS handle that?
It struggles a lot. It's really optimized for the Microsoft SQL Server world. So integrating anything external like live data from AWS or Google Cloud requires custom development work.
Which means expensive, fragile workarounds.
Exactly. You end up with this fragmented view of the business because unifying it all is just too costly and complex. At that point, your BI tool has become a hindrance, not a source of intelligence.
So the pain is clear. Slow, static, complex, and siloed. Let's pivot to the solution. When a company really embraces modern intelligence with a tool like Power BI, how does it start to eliminate these bottlenecks?
Well, the transformation is almost immediate, and it really centers on interactivity and just empowering the user. Power BI replaces those static reports with fluid, interactive dashboards.
So the user is no longer just a passive consumer.
No, they become an active analyst. They can
Yeah.
click on a chart, filter a dimension, and the whole dashboard just updates instantly.
I love that shift to self-service. The
Yeah.
experience goes from being code-driven to, drag and drop. It empowers the marketing manager who actually has the business context.
Exactly. The barrier to entry just plummets. Users can use natural language queries, literally asking the system, show me product returns in California last year, and get an immediate visual answer, no code required.
And the impact on IT must be huge.
Oh, it's revolutionary for them. We see reporting support tickets drop by more than half. That frees up your best technical people for real innovation, not just tweaking reports all day.
But wait a minute, a self-service model, while empowering, sounds like it could create chaos. How do you stop this data anarchy where everyone is defining metrics their own way?
That's a great question, and it's where the modern platform structure is key. Power BI is built for enterprise governance. The underlying data models are centrally managed and certified by IT.
So there's still a single source of truth.
Precisely. The users are self-serving on the presentation layer, but the data definitions, the core metrics, they remain consistent and secure. It eliminates those version control nightmares we talked about.
That covers efficiency and governance. But
Mhm.
what about the bottom line, the financial impact?
It's significant. Organizations typically see cost reductions of 40 to 70% on total reporting costs, usually within the first year.
Where do those savings come from?
A lot of it is just eliminating expensive on-premise server hardware and all the maintenance overhead that comes with it.
And accessibility, the mobile problem, is that completely solved?
Yes, completely. Power BI uses a responsive design. It just adapts to whatever screen you're on, and it has dedicated mobile apps for iOS and Android that are actually useful.
Finally giving executives the data access they need on the go.
Instantly, yes.
Okay, now let's talk about the future AI, advanced analytics. How does Power BI move us beyond just visualizing what already happened?
This is where it gets really interesting. The platform has AI built right in. We're talking about automatic anomaly detection that flags when something unexpected happens in the data.
So it's finding the insights for you.
It is. It has predictive forecasting, complex what-if analysis tools.
Hmm.
You can get powerful predictive insights without needing a whole team of data scientists. And critically, it connects to over 100 different data sources instantly with no custom coding. You can finally get that unified dashboard.
That all sounds fantastic. The business case for migrating seems undeniable. But here's the paradox, right? Getting from A to B is the hard part. Enterprises have thousands of these old SSRS reports. Manually converting all of that must be incredibly risky.
You've hit on the biggest challenge. Manual migration is just fraught with peril because you're moving between two totally different philosophies.
What's the first major pitfall?
The layout.
Huh.
SSRS is, as we said, pixel perfect, like a newspaper layout. Power BI is responsive, designed to flow like a website. Trying to translate that manually often means a complete, very costly redesign, not a simple conversion.
And what about the actual business logic? The formulas and calculations?
That's probably the biggest risk of all. SSRS uses one expression language. Power BI uses a totally different one called DAX.
So every calculation has to be rewritten.
Every single one. And DAX is a powerful but complex language. Every piece of business logic, how you calculate profit margins, currency conversions, it all needs to be rewritten and tested aggressively. Get one formula wrong, and you introduce critical errors across the entire organization.
And the risk isn't just about data integrity, it's about security too, I assume.
Absolutely. You're moving from an older Windows-based security model to Power BI's role-based access. You have to carefully map everything and rebuild your row-level security. Getting that wrong doesn't just block access. It could expose sensitive data, a major compliance risk.
So if an enterprise has 500 or even 5,000 reports, manual conversion just isn't feasible. How are leading firms getting around this? How do you de-risk the transition?
That's where automation becomes essential. Knowing these risks are prohibitive, we at Kanerika developed a specialized proprietary automation approach. Our FLP Accelerator is one example. It's a Python-driven method that just takes the pain out of the process. It performs smart extraction, mapping, and generation, bypassing the manual rewriting of code.
So you're automatically translating the old structure and logic into new, high-quality Power BI files.
That's the idea, moving from a slow, artisanal craft to industrial standardization.
Let's talk about the tangible results of that automated approach. What are the metrics that business leaders really care about?
First and foremost is efficiency and time to value. This automated method can eliminate up to 80% of the manual effort.
80%.
Yep. So projects that would normally take 6 months can now be done in 6 to 8 weeks. That's a 70% faster completion rate, getting those powerful tools into the hands of decision makers months earlier.
And speed is great, but accuracy is everything, especially with financial data.
Data integrity is paramount. Our automated validation ensures 99.9% data accuracy across the converted reports. And because it's standardized, it guarantees uniform formatting and consistent business logic, eliminating the human error you'd get with different developers.
And the financial benefit over the long term.
The automation can reduce total project expenses by up to 60%. You're just eliminating hundreds of hours of high-cost development and reducing your dependency on expensive specialists. It frees up budget for actual innovation, not just maintenance.
And for a large enterprise, what does this mean for risk mitigation at scale?
It fundamentally prevents the scope creep and technical failures you see in manual projects. Automation allows large enterprises to reliably handle 500, 1,000, or even more reports at once, supporting complex migrations that would otherwise be impossible.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. It's so clear that moving beyond outdated systems like SSRS or Cognos to a modern platform like Power BI, it's not just an upgrade. It's an essential strategic move. You're shifting from being reactive reporting on what happened to being proactive, using intelligence to guide what happens next.
And that transition requires confidence. That confidence comes from certainty. As a Microsoft Solutions partner, we focus on eliminating the risks of downtime and data mapping errors. By automating this process, we reduce project timelines by 70% while maintaining that 99.9% data accuracy.
So as you plan your own data modernization, here's a final provocative thought to consider. While Power BI excels at interactive visualization and self-service, SSRS is still supported by Microsoft and remains very relevant for a specific, non-negotiable need. Think about paginated reports, highly structured financial documents, or any time you need that pixel-perfect fixed document output. The shift isn't necessarily a total replacement, but a strategic specialization. So the question to ask is, how can you best determine when to leverage the interactive strengths of Power BI versus the precise document generation of SSRS to maximize data value across your entire organization? That decision is really what defines modern data governance.